Welcome, heroes, to the City of Villains. I'm Jack Emmert, lead designer, otherwise known as Statesman. Now, in City of Villains, we introduce brand new gameplay unlike anything else you've ever seen. Visual tweaks galore, as you can see already with the bloom filter in the distance, as well as new vile costume options here on our villain. Yes, metallic sheen on the parts, as well as horrible scars, spikes, chains, anything you can imagine. And yes, folks, that's bump-mapped water, as well as refraction. City of Villains is going to set a new standard for MMPs in terms of looks and feel. Now, what is the City of Villains? It's a chain of islands northwest of Bermuda, in the middle of the Atlantic, outside U.S. territorial waters. Basically a home for brigands, pirates, and thieves for centuries. Although it was originally founded by the French, it was later taken over by Arachnos and Lord Recluse. Now, the UN gave the Rogue Isles its own recognition in the 1950s. It has its seat in the main body, which means that Lord Recluse has a territory to call his own. Other countries find this convenient because it is a no man's land, a place where almost any sort of business deal can be transacted. And also it keeps some level of control over the chaos that otherwise brews here. It's a mixture of 1940s Casablanca and 1990s Mogadishu. There are 11 zones that make up the Rogue Isles, 4 PvP zones and 7 PvE zones. Each zone has its own particular gameplay feature. In the PvP zones, it's something which both good and evil fight over. In Warburg, for instance, it is the control of a missile silo, which you can then use to launch an attack against your foes. Here in a PvE zone, Port Oaks, players can go to Fort Hades and help Arachnos capture ghosts that are left over from a pirate attack on the fort over a century and a half ago. There you see the ghost traps where players will try to trick ghosts into, and Arachnos rewards them for their work. There you can see agents patrolling on the grounds themselves. And in a moment, you'll see a ghost pass by us, as well as some new visual tweaks that we've added. The specularity sheen, which is apparent here in iridescent green on our Arachnos trooper. Now that we've taken a look at Fort Hades, we can go into Port Oaks proper and see what a downtown area looks like. Now, the City of Villains shares some skyscrapers and so forth, which you might see in Paragon City, but the look is entirely different. Here it's Gothic, betraying its original French roots. Also, things are more run down, more grimy, grittier, because after all, this is a place where villains fight amongst each other to get the notice of Lord Recluse, and perhaps even recruited into the ranks of Arachnos itself. Now, not all the gameplay takes here, folks. Some missions will take you into Paragon City, but this is where you as a villain have to make your way in order to become recognized as the world's worst.